Hello, this is Einar from Unity Center. Today we have Gregory Possman here. You want Gregory Ashid Possman?
Well, that's my soul name, the Ashid in the middle, so...
Okay, we'll take that with us. He's here today, he's going to have courses this weekend. So we used the possibility to ask him questions about how he works, and he's going to channel. So don't cut it out before some minutes. Gregory, you've been working with this in around 20 years?
A little over. I started in 1991.
As a channeler?
Well, I didn't know that that's what I was going to be doing, but I was told by an entity that I had agreed to do this before I was born.
Yeah.
And so I said, how? How do I do this? And they said, we can't teach you how, but we can get the blocks out of the way. And so they did a lot of emotional release work with me, got rid of a lot of grief, a lot of anger, a lot of upset, and then it started. And that started in 91.
How old were you then?
I think I was 39.
Okay.
That's a lot of math.
What kind of job did you have then?
Well, prior to that, I had been working in the insurance business, and then I switched over to promotions and fundraising. So I had a very left brain job. And this is a very right brain job. Yes. This has nothing to do with the left brain.
Did you cut out working immediately?
I jumped off the cliff. I got divorced. I left my work. I left everything, and for approximately a year and a half, I didn't have a clue what I was to do. I knew I was to do something that I was groomed for, but I didn't know exactly what it was.
Did you think it was exciting?
I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was great, because at the time I didn't like my life. So every time I checked out, I didn't have to be in my life. Yeah. That was fabulous. It was like the great escape.
Wow. But when the 1.5 years you were under self-development,
right.
And then you started to do courses, or what? How did you get started?
I started I guess you'd call it a development group in Atlanta, Georgia on Monday nights. And I did that for a couple of years. And in the process, I started having private sessions with clients, and then I started being invited to larger groups. And the thing that really kicked off my career was the Conclave of Michael in Banff, Canada. I think that was in '92.
What's that?
That was a large gathering of about 400 or 500 people that took place in Banff, and I was invited to come and channel there. And I think I was in front of about 450 people, so that was a huge event to me. And a lot of those people started asking me to come to their cities and work, and that's what kicked off my process as far as doing this full time.
Yeah. But most of your work you do in channeling? Or?
A lot of my work is channeled, but I do a lot of conscious work as well. I believe that I went from being a trance channel to also being a conscious channel. And now I feel these entities around me, and when I'm sitting having a conversation, like right now Archangel Michael's over here, and there's a couple of other entities over here, kind of in the wall, if you will. Yeah. And I can hear what they have to say, so I don't have to check out anymore to answer the questions people have. Fantastic. I do it that way a lot of times.
I think most people in the world today don't know what channeling is, how it works. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. There's an entry point for most human beings. Mine is in the back of my neck. And what happens is there's a vibrational frequency that is much higher than mine, and I have to bring my vibration up, and they have to bring theirs down. And when they do, there's a lock that takes place. In other words, they enter my body. That's how it feels to me. And when they do that, they're about 80% in control. Some get up to 90%, depending on how much I trust them. And they take over, and they take care of me. It's like being in a big vacuum of love. It feels very, very pleasant most of the time. And the only time it doesn't feel pleasant is if I go in a building to clear out a building and there's a ghost or a spirit there. And if that entity doesn't want to go into the light, then I'll actually let that entity come through me. That is not pleasant. That's unpleasant, because they're not used to this. They're a very low frequency. But it gives them the opportunity to communicate, and it allows them to talk with a human being And then usually that human being can talk them into going into the light and leaving this realm, this dimension. So that raises the frequency of the earth, which is what all of this is about as far as I'm concerned. And the consciousness of humanity. If it isn't about that, then there's really no point. I mean, it's just entertainment, and that I think is inappropriate. It's not entertainment. It's about the work we do.
When we talk about, is this special in these times right now? Because everybody's talking about the frequencies going up and everything. Is it lots of people, extra many people channeling now to help us heighten the vibrations?
I think there are more and more entities that want to come through, earth beings, human beings, and I think the reason is because they have so much information to share, they have a lot of healing they want to share, and they want to help people. The bottom line is they truly want to help people. And in times like these, where we have lots of negative things going on the earth, not nearly as many as we used to have, but I think it's important that there be a positive kind of influence that gives us faith and gives us hope that we can make this world a better place to be. I mean, when I started doing this, I had little or no faith in humanity. I thought humanity was probably doomed because of all the things I'd read and seen. Now I have a totally different attitude. Now I feel like that's the reason I'm doing this, is to move us up in our consciousness and our awareness, in the collective, so to speak. And, they'll talk about that.
Yeah. Why Scandinavia? You're a lot in Denmark, Sweden and Norway.
In 2000, I was invited to Denmark, and this is embarrassing, but the gentleman that asked me said, would you come to Denmark and work? I was in Portugal at the time. And I said, sure, I'd be happy to come to Denmark. Where's Denmark? And I just sort of showed my ignorance. But I started working in Denmark, and then things kind of spread out to here in Norway and Sweden. And now I have a lot of people who work with me, and we've started what's basically called the Earth Healing Group, which I believe are people who don't know each other, but they come together on the internet at predetermined times, and they do earth work. They pray for the earth, they meditate for the earth, and whatever it is they do. And I believe that a lot of these people were here in Denmark, in Norway, in Sweden, here in Scandinavia, and I don't quite understand all the background, but I can see from my perspective that they've all come together to raise that consciousness. And it's very exciting. I mean, to me, it's incredible. With the advent of the internet and communication with emails and everything, they coordinate the times, and there's no time and no space, and it doesn't matter, but somebody's 10 minutes before and somebody's 3 hours later, it doesn't make any difference. But I believe that there's a tremendous amount of healing work that's happening both for the earth and humanity as a result of that. And that's what all of this is about to me. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Time to check out?
Yeah, maybe time to... Now it's boring to listen to you. Get someone else in there.
Yeah. Let's get the real deal. Greetings, we are the one who is called the Archangel Michael. Some call us Michael. You can call us whatever you like. How may we assist you on this day?
Thank you for visiting us. I would have some questions that I think lots of people want to know. For first thing, Shambhala. Can you tell a little bit about what that is?
The Council of Shambhala is actually a group of 12 entities whose interest in the earth is not in the earth, it is in the entire omniverse. In other words, it is the divine blueprint that all entities would come together in unconditional love, unconditional acceptance, and unconditional peace. And when that is accomplished, the Council of Shambhala, the 12 members, columns of light, if you will, organized in an oval, if you wanted to see it from a human perspective, they will disband. Once that objective has been accomplished, they will no longer need to be, so to speak. They will move forward in their spiritual evolution. And some of you on your planet believe that is an impossible task. But what the Council tells us, and this comes directly from the 12th seat, called Halil, is that when the quantum leap takes place in the collective consciousness of humanity, and when humanity is ready, all of those who are engaged in combat, all of those who are in the military, so to speak, will lay down their weapons, literally salute or honor their adversaries, and they will leave the battlefield, so to speak. Now, of course, with technology as you have it, things are different. But it is to understand that when that collective consciousness raises to that frequency, then that process will literally happen. And what is true is that all upon the earth will find that each and every one of them is connected in unity. And that unity means that if you harm another, you are harming yourself. And why would you harm yourself had you reached that consciousness, that realization? You would not. And therefore, the entire process can shift on the earth. And each time a human being, any human being, rises to that level, they are a surrogate for the rest of humanity. And they are bringing everyone else up, because the law of resonance says those of a higher frequency will bring those of a lower frequency up. And that is what is taking place at this very moment. We vibrate at a higher frequency than the man through whom we speak. We bring his frequency up. We take care of his physical body. And in turn, he gives us the opportunity to use him as a mouthpiece, so that those on your planet can learn.
Yes. Lots of the videos we've been making before has been talking about this this change. Is this going to happen suddenly? Is it, are we waiting for a kind of benchmark, or is it a long time before something is going to happen?
No one knows. Perhaps the Creator knows. But no one knows how long it will take. And a few moments ago, he mentioned the word faith. And faith is the key. And what is the definition of faith? Faith means you believe without evidence. You have no evidence, but you decide to believe something anyway. What if every human being on your planet decided that humanity was well worth saving, and that the way it would be saved is if everyone believed in that unity that we mentioned a moment ago? So, will it take place today or tomorrow? We do not know. It will take place when humanity is ready for it. And the more of you who have that faith anchored within your being, the faster that quantum leap can occur. It was said long ago in a prophecy that when 144,000 enlightened souls existed on the planet, the quantum leap could occur. And the truth of the matter is, perhaps that is true. But the other truth that we try to share with all of you is that in your unconscious projection, you are masters. You have already reached enlightenment. But you see, the truth of the matter is, your conscious mind doesn't get it. Your conscious mind believes that there is this great quest that must take place. And the truth is, you are already there. What drives you to run this beautiful center that you have created? You remember years ago when you started.
Yeah.
It was like an uphill battle, fighting and clawing to arrive.
Yes.
And when you got to the top, What happened? Everyone wants to be here. Everyone wants the use of your rooms and your time. You are thriving. You see, that is mastery. That was mastery then, and it is mastery now. But the master who sits next to us, he may not get it. He may believe that now there are other challenges in his life. And yet, is he not still a master? Yes, he is. And the one who may not get it is him.
Yeah. It's become but that's for all of the, I'm representative for the most of the population on the earth.
Absolutely.
I don't have the enough faith. Is that the thing? You're talking about the faith. If everybody believed in this, we're going to a better world, we're going to be in unity, everybody's going to be in each other's consciousness and feel each other's pain and all these things and want to help people.
We would say that if all of you had faith in yourselves, then this process would quicken so rapidly that it would actually make your head turn, so to speak. You'd have to not blink your eyes so you could see it happen.
What is the easy way to get people to get enlightenment? What can we at the center here do to get people, more people, to believe that we're going to this nice place?
You continue to support the work of those who already have it. In other words, you fake it until you make it. In other words, you have people that have that faith in themselves, who are utilizing their gifts and giving themselves permission to share it and to spread it with others. And you cannot imagine where this particular piece of work that we are doing right now is going to go. You cannot imagine how many people are going to see it. You cannot imagine how many people are going to share it. So, it is like an atomic bomb that blows up in terms of consciousness. And all of these particles of consciousness begin to flow outward. And as they do, you cannot estimate what effect they are going to have. But you can believe in your faith that it is going to work. And that is the key. Just as the optimist says, the glass is not half empty. The glass is half full. And I am going to enjoy what is in the rest of the glass. And the optimist believes that there is another glass waiting for him. The pessimist says, oh no, we had better conserve what is left in the glass because there are no more glasses. And in that, they are saying, the Creator is not an abundant Creator. The Creator is a scarcity Creator. But if you look at the leaves on the trees, if you look at the apple blossoms that are blooming now in the spring, they promise that many, many apples will be on the tree. That is abundance. That is prosperity taught by Mother Nature, so to speak. The devas, the fairies, the elementals, teaching you that there is more than enough. And there it is. So, is there more than enough consciousness to reach this point? Our answer is absolutely. Absolutely there is. If we did not believe in you as a race, we would not spend so much energy trying to move you in that direction. But we do believe, and we are a guardian of the earth, and therefore it is important to us in working in collaboration on the other side. And it will happen. It will.
Yes, I really believe it. But I'm interested in getting more people to believe this and have the faith. But if you're talking to ordinary people now on a video, what can I do? Also, when we work at the center, we work with people help them release their traumas, get into the more energy and those things. Is that important, or is it most important to have the faith?
It is more than important. It is critical.
To
If a person on your planet does not express their emotions, if they keep all of it locked up inside of them, as your schools have taught, as some of your religions have taught, as some of your government and your enterprise teaches, do not have what we shall call an emotional release, keep it bottled up inside of you, we're not really that interested. Just make sure that you're sitting at your desk at 9 a.m. in the morning and you're productive until 5 p.m. in the afternoon. And the rest of it, well, that's your problem, it's personal, we really don't want to hear about it. But you see, when they come here, they work with people who are gifted, people who can bring all of that to the surface and provide a safe environment where it can be released. And if it isn't released and it remains bottled up inside of a human body, it becomes a tumor, it becomes cancer, it becomes some sort of dis-ease, imbalance. And by allowing that expression to occur, the balance occurs. And then a person begins to feel better about themselves. And they begin to discover what their gifts are. And then they decide to stop withholding their gift from others. And they begin to share with their family, who ultimately can believe that perhaps they're a little bit crazy. And that is okay. Or they begin to share with others on the planet who they are. And that is called intimacy. That is called allowing others to see what used to be a secret. And when one feels comfortable with that, they invite that intimacy from others. And then there is catharsis. There is this explosion of love. And when that takes place, it is massive. Massive.
And today this is maybe happening in small groups, one-to-one people, and this is going to spread then to more and more people get in touch with these experiences.
They have no choice.
That's the deal.
That is the deal. They have no choice. In other words, when a person's light begins to shine so brightly, when that begins to occur, everyone else says, what's going on with you? What has changed? What has happened to you? I want some of that. I want some of that light. I want some of that joy. I want some of that bliss. And in all honesty, what is life truly about? It is about happiness. It is about seeking happiness. Some find it at the bottom of a glass of beer. Some find it in a drug. Some find it in sexual relations. There are so many aspects of it. But where it really exists is inside of you. There is a master teacher inside each of you. And when you begin to connect with that, that is when the process starts. And then everything begins to heal, including the physical body, which is often the last part to heal. But what could trigger that if one is ignoring it for a long period in their life? A trip to the doctor who tells you that you have cancer of the liver. Oh my God, what am I to do? This could kill me. Yes, indeed, it could kill you. So what does a person begin to do? Well, doctor, how would you treat it? Well, we would do this and this and this. And what are the side effects of that? Well, you really don't want to know. Then a person must choose. Do they want to go the medical route, or do they want to look for some alternative that perhaps does not have the side effects. And that is a personal choice. And we are not judging either choice. For many, both choices are appropriate. But you see, it is not about the disease. It is not about the imbalance. It is about the lesson that is to be learned. That's the key. What is the lesson for all of this drama that all of you create in your lives? And it's beautiful. We have a great deal of fun watching it. It's better than any soap opera that you can imagine. But the truth of the matter is, it's all drama. And the lessons that come with it, those are the prize. It is not understanding. It is not even enlightenment, although that is the result. The question is, what is the lesson that I must learn from this liver cancer that I have generated, created within my own body? And that is the key. Each and every one of you are the creator of your reality. But that requires something that is extremely difficult. And that is 100% responsibility. Not 99.2%. Not 99.8%. Because then you always have a little sliver that you can slide through and say, well, that was the 2% that I didn't create. No. You create it all. You have created a center here that is thriving and vital, that has vitality. You created that. Not alone. You and the Creator created it. You and all of those who help you. But the truth of the matter is, it's energy. And the energy is what spreads out there. And the energy is what brings people here. People who are opening up. People who have liver cancer. People who may be undergoing radiation treatment, chemotherapy. But say to themselves, there must be more to this. It's not just about the cancer. There's something I must learn from it. Whom can I go to find out what that is? Ah, a place called the Unity Center in the middle of Oslo, where there are all kinds of different therapists. There are all kinds of gifted people. And there is someone in that place that can help me. And that is what I want. I want help. And that is what you offer. From our humble perspective.
This is nowhere on the personal ground. Is all diseases from traumas, energy, or is it some of it is because eating bad food?
That is a very personal question. Should you eat meat? Well, it depends. Some of you should, and some of you shouldn't. Should you eat dairy, milk, yogurt, cheese, and all of that? Some of you should, some of you shouldn't. What you should do from our perspective, and now we're in the could have, would have, should have realm, which is all fantasy, by the way. But to answer your question, go inside and ask your body what it wants and wait for an answer. Go into the grocery store, go into the produce section and look at the colors. Oh, there's bright red. My body wants bright red. I will take that and I will eat it. I don't even know what it is. Perhaps it's red chard, or it's this, or it's that, it's an apple, or it's something. But it's red. I need red. And the more you practice, the more you will begin to understand what you should and shouldn't eat. And of course, when your body reacts, if you get this horrible bellyache down here, that's a pretty good indication that was the wrong choice. And if you take that food out, and you start eating other foods, and you don't get that raging bellyache, or that horrible heartburn, or whatever it is, you begin to realize what your body can tolerate and what it can't. Many years ago, the man Ashid, the one through whom we speak, he stopped drinking alcohol. He was not an alcoholic. He really didn't care much about alcohol. But he got a message, and the message said, stop. And that was well before he started on this spiritual journey. To this day, he doesn't touch alcohol. And he doesn't like to take allopathic drugs. Pharmaceuticals he does not like. He will take a natural alternative before anything else. And his immune system is rising. And we are not bragging, we are simply stating fact. The truth of the matter is your body needs a lot of minerals, and you don't get them in your food any longer, because your food is mass-produced. And if you can eat organic or biologisk or whatever word you use, eat it. Even if it is not pure, even if there is a little bit of pesticide in it, isn't that better than a lot of pesticide? Because pesticide is poison. Growth hormones are a form of poison. Your body doesn't like them. So, yes, it is wise to eat naturally. And that is one of the ways to raise your vibrational frequency. And if you decide meat is inappropriate, for whatever reason, then don't eat it. But let your body decide.
What about gene-manipulated products? I heard in the US now, you eat 70% of your food is gene-manipulated.
That is true.
And what does that do to your body?
Well, imagine what would happen if you were to genetically manipulate a human being. You would start seeing people with 4 and 5 and 6 arms. They'd look more like octopi than they would look like humans. So do you want to eat that? Of course not. Truth of the matter is that is not natural. Truth of the matter is it's not healthy. But corporations make a fortune on it. And so the almighty currency, the dollar so to speak, the krona, whatever it might be, wins out. And do we have the well-being of the human being in mind? Is that what our goal, our objective is? No, of course not. It is to sell billions of seeds, pounds, liters, whatever, to farmers. And so, we will manipulate nature to that end. And, no, it is not healthy for you. But you see, it's a point of education. Many people are so used to eating something out of a box, they don't even think about it anymore. They don't stop and say, what am I putting in my body? What is this? What's it going to do to me? And, again, to that end, you begin to eat healthier food. You begin to do what raises your frequency rather than what lowers it. And putting all of that poison and sugar, and frankly, all of that milk into your body, it doesn't work. When was the last time you saw a cat jump up underneath a cow and suck on the teat of the cow? You haven't seen that recently, have you?
No, I haven't seen
and
that.
yet, think about it. When was the last time someone poured some milk into a bowl for a cat? And the cat says, looks delicious. Why not try it? Whether or not my body needs it, I'm going to try it. And then gets used to it and expects it. And that is what is happening. So, as you wean yourself off of those foods that do not serve you, just as a cat might wean itself off of the milk because its master stops giving it to the cat, your body becomes healthier. Your body begins to dump all the toxins. And everything starts to feel better. You heal.
I'm going to ask Matthew and Synnøve, any questions I missed out? No. I don't know, this question Matthew asked before we started the interview about some people are teaching you to have a protection. Especially people working as healers, they have to have a protection so they don't get the other people's energy, bad energy into themselves and so on. Is this important to have protection? Do normal people need protection?
Why does voodoo work on people who believe in voodoo? Because they believe in voodoo. On people who don't believe in voodoo, voodoo doesn't have any effect at all. So you see, the truth of the matter is, from that perspective that you create your own reality. Part of it is created in your unconscious, and part of it in your conscious. So if you believe in your unconscious that someone is attacking you psychically, energetically, spiritually, in whatever manner, using whatever magic they have, then you are going to need protection. On the other hand, if you believe that you are protected to begin with, then no protection is necessary. So, it boils down to what your belief is. Just as 90% of the questions that people ask us do. What is your belief? If you believe that 5 beers a day is healthy for you, possibly it will be. Sooner or later you will probably have cirrhosis of the liver, but you didn't ask your liver, did you? No, you asked your belief system. And your belief system said, it's okay to be an alcoholic. It's okay to have 5 beers a day. But sooner or later you'll have 6, and then 7, and then 8. And the cirrhosis will build more quickly. So the question is, does a healer need protection? If a healer does not take the energy of the person into them, if that is not the way they heal, then protection is not all that important. But if on an unconscious level, perhaps they are allowing some of that seepage to take place, some of that is seeping into them, then yes, they need to do a prayer. Perhaps they need to surround themselves with white light. Perhaps they need a crystal, a stone. Perhaps they need to take a chime and ring it. That sound can be very, very healing. And it can empty them of all of that lower frequency energy. So, it is a good idea to say a quick prayer before one begins healing work. And it is a good idea when you are walking about and you are aware of a lower frequency. Either leave the area or say your quick prayer or envision this cocoon of white light around you, and then you don't have to deal with the consequences. What is it you say? Something like, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. You would have to do the conversion, of course.
I have one last question here. This is more into the future thing, energies. On YouTube and lots of places, people are talking about the dimension shift. We're going up in another dimension, or we're just making our own vibration higher and getting into another dimension. And then lots of people are talking about different kinds of dimensions that we can go to. Bashar on YouTube, I listen to him a lot, he's American. The last interview I heard with him was he's talking about 5, 6 railway going straight ahead, and from now on they're going in different, they're going to go away from each other more and more, and after 5 years it's difficult to jump into the different dimensions. So if I'm in one dimension, some other people that's thinking or believing something totally different there in another dimension, and we lose contact with them. Is that something that's true, or is it just an interesting thought?
You recently lost an aircraft on your planet.
Yes.
And everyone wants to know where it is. Everyone wants to know where are the bodies of those friends, family, loved ones. Well, they're no longer in this dimension. And we're going to share a little secret with you and all of those who are watching. It is this. We believe, and this is our belief, that the pilot of that aircraft sought to seek or create suicide. He was going to take approximately 238 or 39 people with him. That wasn't appropriate. That was not their choice. There are some from another dimension who emptied that aircraft of those beings at the last moment, so to speak. And they did not kidnap them, so to speak. They saved them. They saved their lives. They are now existing in another dimension. And heaven only knows if one of the relatives of one of those people on that aircraft watches this and learns of it, and can allow themselves to have a little bit of relief knowing that their loved one is still alive. So the truth of the matter is, some of the wreckage may be found at some point far into the future, but there will be no skeletons, there will be no bodies, save for one. The pilot was allowed to take his life, but he was not allowed to take any others.
Wow, that was interesting.
And the point is, yes, there are many other dimensions. And yes, the description Bashar gives from our perspective is accurate. And the truth of the matter is, imagine a population on your planet who makes the leap that we have spoken of and elevates into a dimension where that is the belief system. In other words, the belief system can create a different reality. And now imagine all of those who are dishonest and force people to do things against their will and manipulate them and abuse them. And imagine all of those frequencies coming together and creating their own dimension. You have a phrase on your planet that says, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. What goes around comes around. Resonances come together. Birds of a feather flock together. They all mean the same thing.
Karma?
Exactly. So, what is happening? Those of a higher consciousness are moving into a higher dimension. Those of a lower consciousness are attracting more of that low frequency energy to them, and they are moving down. And sooner or later, there must be a separation. Now, how does that lead you to unity? Well, in that low frequency dimension, it doesn't. But in the high frequency dimension, there is nothing but unity. And with that, we will leave you. It has been a great joy and a great pleasure.
Thank you very much.
You are most welcome. Great peace and much love to all of you. So be it. Welcome back.
That was Gregory we were talking with. That was great stuff.
Good. Good. Glad you enjoyed it.
Usually in the end of the interviews we give you the opportunity to tell the world some kind of message. If you have a message to the world, you have
my message comes out every month. And it's a channeled message, and the website is gregorypossman.com or gregorypossman.dk. And there's a channeled message up on there every month, and my recommendation would be to take a look at it and see what it says. It's usually a meditation or an exercise, something of that nature. And my other message is always the same: don't worry, be happy.
Fantastic. Just like Dalai Lama says.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Gregory.
My pleasure.